Let me ask you a question. Imagine two organizations. Both have talented people. Both pay competitive salaries. Both have modern offices. Both have impressive vision statements. Yet one organization keeps growing and the other struggles with politics, silos, and constant employee turnover. What makes a difference? Most people will say strategy. Some will say leadership. Others will say culture. I believe all of them are symptoms. The real foundation is something far less visible. Trust. Trust is like the foundation of a building. Nobody admires it. Nobody photographs it. Nobody talks about it. But the moment it weakens, everything above it begins to crack, shake. And here's the irony. Most leaders believe trust comes with authority. It doesn't. Authority may get people to comply. Trust gets people to commit. And there's a world of difference between the two. Here's the biggest misunderstanding in leadership. People often say trust has to be earned. That's true. But leaders usually mean something very different. They expect employees to earn the leader's trust. Rarely do they ask, have I earned theirs? The reality is simple. People don't trust leaders because they occupy a position. They trust leaders because their behavior becomes predictable. Trust isn't built through speeches. It's built through consistency. Think of trust as a bridge. When the bridge is strong, people cross it every day without thinking. Ideas flow, feedback flows, innovation flows. Problems are reported early. Nobody even notices the bridge. But when cracks start to appear, everyone slows down. Communication changes. People begin protecting themselves. Soon, nobody crosses the bridge anymore. That's exactly what happens inside organizations. Let me share the 5 silent trust killers with you. Number 1, inconsistency. One day the leader encourages initiative. The next day, someone gets criticized for taking initiative. The team receives just one message. Playing safe is safer than thinking independently. Consistency builds trust. Mood-based leadership destroys it. Number 2, favoritism. Nothing destroys credibility faster than unequal standards. The same mistake, different consequences. People stop believing in fairness. And when fairness disappears, trust quietly follows. Number 3, hidden agendas. Have you ever worked for someone whose decisions always surprised you? Not because they were bold, because nobody understood them. People don't expect leaders to share every detail, but they do certainly expect honesty. When information is withheld without explanation, people create their own explanations. Rumors are born where communication dies. Number 4, punishing honesty. Imagine asking your team to always speak openly, then criticizing the first person who disagrees. From that moment, silence becomes survival. A leader who punishes honesty does not create loyalty. He creates fear. Fear looks like discipline until innovation disappears. And number 5, competence without character or character without competence. Trust has 2 pillars, character and capability. People want leaders who are ethical, but they also want leaders who can make good decisions. Integrity without competence creates sympathy. Competence without integrity creates fear. Leadership requires both. Imagine every relationship has a bank account. Every promise you keep, deposit. Every difficult conversation handled respectfully, deposit. Every time you give credit where it's due, deposit. Now think about withdrawals. Breaking promises, taking credit, ignoring people, publicly embarrassing someone. Withdrawals happen much faster than deposits. One careless moment can erase years of credibility. Remember, trust compounds slowly, but it disappears instantly. When trust disappears, meetings become longer, emails become longer, approvals multiply. People copy 10 others into every email. Innovation slows, decision making slows. Nobody wants responsibility. Because responsibility now carries risk. Low trust organizations don't necessarily have less talent. They simply waste more energy protecting themselves. High trust organizations use that same energy to solve problems. Imagine driving a powerful car with the handbrake partially engaged. The engine works harder, fuel burns faster, progress becomes slower. That's exactly what happens in low trust teams. People still work, but they spend enormous energy second guessing, documenting, protecting themselves, and avoiding blame. Trust doesn't create capability, it releases capability that already exists. Let me share the trust framework with you. T stands for transparency. Explain decisions whenever possible. People may not always agree, but they respect clarity. R stands for reliability. Do what you say. If circumstances change, communicate early. Reliability is one of the strongest trust builders. U, understanding. Listen before concluding. People don't expect leaders to know everything, but they certainly expect leaders to understand before deciding. S, standards. Rules should not change depending on the individual. Consistency, on the other hand, creates psychological safety. Fairness creates credibility. T, time. Trust cannot be demanded, it cannot be rushed, it grows through repeated experiences. One interaction at a time. A lighthouse does not stop storms. It simply remains visible and dependable during storms. Leadership works the same way. People don't expect leaders to remove every difficulty in their way. They expect leaders to remain steady when difficulties arrive. Predictability creates confidence. Confidence creates trust. One lesson from military leadership has stayed with me throughout my career. In difficult situations, people don't ask who has the highest rank. They ask, whom can I depend on? The answer is rarely the loudest person. It's the one who has consistently demonstrated competence, integrity, and calmness under pressure. That lesson applies equally in corporate boardrooms too. Titles may establish authority. Only trust establishes influence. Before we conclude, I would like to leave you with 3 questions. If your team made a mistake, would they tell you immediately, or first discuss how to hide it? If you announced a major decision, would people assume good intent or suspect hidden motives? And if you walked into your office tomorrow, would people become quieter because they respected you or because they feared you? Your answers to these 3 questions reveal more about your leadership than any performance review ever will. Leadership is often measured by results, but results are temporary. Trust is enduring. When people trust you, they bring you bad news early. They share new ideas freely. They challenge you respectfully. They stand with you during difficult times. And that is when leadership moves beyond authority and becomes influence. Because in the end, people don't give their best work to organizations, they give their best work to leaders they trust. Remember, leadership is not built on authority. It isn't sustained by charisma either. It endures because people know they can depend on you. And in leadership, there is no greater compliment than being trusted. Jai Hind.